semdol kake mofaseda.
We are wanderers, neutral and in service to all of New Eden. We rescue the lost and light the way through Thera. We sail forbidden seas. Come explore with us. Signal Cartel. Can't stop the signal.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talking in Stations. I'm your host, Rain, and I'm joined by our lovely engineer, Ben. Oh, I got it right. And then we have our brand new guest, Frozen Fallout, from, oh my gosh, now I want to say Frozen Frontline. From, what is it? The Frontier Frontline Report. Oh, no, I butchered that. Hold on.
No, I know how this goes.
Federation
Federation Frontline
Federation
Report.
Frontline Report. There you go. And that's your own talk show. And stream and alliance. Right?
Yeah. We've rebranded all the way to just being the Federation Frontline Report on everything. Our Discord is now moved over to that. We were Golden Age Stories, GULDAN, but so that's my real life name, like last name, and I use that for my LLC, and so it's Golden Age Stories, and I was running with that. But FanFest really woke up my eyes up to like how many people are like, oh, so you're a World of Warcraft player, and I was like, oh, I'm suing. I am so suing those guys for stealing our name, and now I have to explain. So I was like, nope, everything. We'll keep the LLC in real life, but for Eve and pretty much all my stuff that I'm doing right now, Federation Frontline Report is a much more suitable name.
And so that was kind of somewhat of an introduction, but who are you and what do you do in Eve? We know you're Frozen, but what do you do in Eve? I see the Galente hat.
Yeah, so I am part of the Galente Federation. We are a pirate broadcast that is the privateers of the Galente. We've been hired by the Galente to do, the work out in faction warfare space. I've been playing Eve since, I mean, technically I could say that I've been playing Eve since the beta. But I looked at the beta at 19 years old and I was like, might have even been 18 because it might have been before my birthday on that year. And I remember just going, what the fuck is this? This looks cool. My buddy Coder Fasteel, who got me into the game, was like, dude, we were checking out all the MMORPGs and stuff because we were like Ultima Online players. So we were like checking out all the different betas and stuff that were going on. He's like, check this out. But I really just fell out after like 2 days where I was like, I don't understand what's going on here because they just kick you into space. And I ended up really getting into the game in 2006. That's when Frozen Fallout was born. And I've been in and out of 0.0. I've been, in the Interstellar Alcoholic Conglomerate, in the Great War, fighting McFix, and been up with Mostly Harmless, and did a bunch of Northern Coalition, not Northern Coalition Dot, the real coalition of the Northern Alliances, back in the day. And when Faction Warfare came out, that was it for me. Like I was like, this is the epicness. We tried building our own corporation when I first started, but I was like, this is where you can build a whole new corporation. You have a dedicated thing, and I made Mecha Enterprises Fleet, which is well known. Like without me, like I wasn't involved in any of their 0.0 shenanigans and stuff like that. But they went on to be a really epic corp. Really proud that I was able to found it and run it for a long time, and happy that I handed it off when I ended up with Goons. So there was parties and stuff in my hometown. There was annual meetups of the Goons. And so that's how I ended up learning of like getting really deep into the game, into the social gatherings and stuff like that. But now I'm back to faction warfare because it's always been my home. I really wish I would have just stayed in faction warfare and partied with the goons in keeping my corporation to a certain degree. So regrets. But overall, I love faction warfare. So I was like, let's do a podcast. And so that's how the Federation Frontline Report was born. And now we've fully branded ourselves.
Nice. No, that's awesome to hear, like, your story and your journey throughout Eve. I know Ben is trying to get a giveaway going, so if you're in chat, pay attention for that. But you talked a lot about the social gatherings. So I remember hearing about I know Goons had like a fancy name for it, where every year they would go up to, I think it was like Wisconsin or whatever, and they would hang out. Kind of like not ever publicized because it was exclusively a Goon event, Goon meet, or like you had to have a friend to go or whatever. But we also just had FanFest, which is, I know how you reached out to me to say, "Hey, FanFest just happened. Do you want me to come talk about it?" Because both neither Ben nor I have been to FanFest this year, and so we did the post FanFest stream of looking at what was presented, kind of breaking that down.
Plus
But
the
how?
French coverage of 16 hours stream for me.
Yeah, yeah, Ben actually working and streaming the whole thing and translating. But how was FanFest for you? Was this your first one?
Yes. So this is my first fan fest, and but not my first like huge, not huge, but big, goon gathering because that's where I live. Is Madison, Wisconsin, and this is the Goomp, as they called it. Was something that was annually going on. And when I found out that was happening, I was like, well, these guys fucking party in my city like all the time. Like, and there was monthly meetups for a long time that they were doing. um, and so, but I never got to go to like Vegas. I've always been a poor boy from a poor family, and the dreams of going to Iceland or even to Vegas were like dreams. Like that would be epic. But so this was my first real big gathering of being able to go to like a huge event specifically for Eve. I was able to get my wife to go, which was awesome. She's a little bit of an Eve player. She likes to jump on and help us murder some people every once in a while. Gets really pissed off at me when she dies, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I killed you. I know it was my fault." Like, um, and so, but she was like, "Yeah, this would be cool. Let's go to we go to Gen Con every year." And now I'm at the point where I can like go to Iceland in my life. I'm, getting to my 40s, and I'm like doing well. And so I was like, okay, so let's go. So we got the early bird tickets for this. I was like the 20th anniversary. Oh hell yeah. This is the time. Like this is the thing to do. So I've got my two podcasting co-hosts, Night Flyer and Samson, and both of them came out for the event. So we had our own little gang of Federation Frontline Report out there, and the like the excitement, the whole thing, like it's it's unbelievable. I will say that I've been going to Gen Con, even though I was poor. Like that's where my vacation money went to. Was like my let's go to Gen Con. My buddies have been going for like 20 plus years, I think now. I think they were in the 1990s when they actually started going to Gen Con. And like, that's my big thing. FanFest was better than Gen Con. And my wife said that this was better than Gen Con because it is a very different, it's like falling into another universe. If you've never like been to a place where there's just thousands of nerds that are just like you who love this game. I've been playing forever, so like I was just going up to people, be like, "Who do you fly for?" And then either giving them the, "Ooh, okay, that's okay, we can talk," but you know, I hear that you're Bob. Well, me and you back in the day. I'm
I
sure.
I was gonna say that's the fun question because no matter what someone says, you just go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, no matter what their answer is for who they fly with, you just go, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you, dude." And like
You're
they
so
always get
right
like
about that last statement, because everyone asks me like, "Who are you?" I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry in
that's really
advance.
funny too, yeah. But that's what I always say to anyone when they talk about who they fly with is I just say I'm sorry. Like I act like really disappointed in whatever alliance or corp or whoever. And it's even better when they don't play Eve because then you just look like, man, I'm sorry. It sucks you don't play Eve. But that's how I act. But yeah, like it's really fun. The Eve meets where like you had it like you could be enemies from a long time ago, but you're still there to have fun and the
Yeah.
vibe. So what'd you think of Iceland then and the meetup? You said better than Gen Con, which I know Gen Con's pretty big in the Midwest, in terms of like conventions here.
Yeah, so I mean, Gen Con's like 100,000 people. It's got like nerdery of everything. Eve used to be super huge. CCP when they bought White Wolf, because White Wolf was super huge at Gen Con. And that's a whole tangent that we could go down, but I think I'll stay away from right now. But the the parties at Gen Con were always epic, and it's unfortunately not a place for really Eve. There was so that I guess that was probably my first like taste of big social gatherings, but it was really just hang out at the bar with my it even though we were all Eve players, it still felt like I'm at Gen Con. I don't know like who these people are, and I've got my pack of like 10 people that are pulling me in all different directions and like hanging out that are not playing Eve, or had been former. So Gen Con was interesting, and I always loved going there, and there was cool stuff to do. But when you go to FanFest, it's completely different. I mean, Iceland is also like its own little special magical island. So you get to fly out to a magical island. You get to like go to this like neat Eve like Jita fourth. Like you get to hang out in Jita. It's kind of for me. It was I'm a role player. I've been playing D&D and stuff all of my life, and those types of games. And so I was like, okay, so I'm just going to Jita 4 and I'm going to start interviewing and talking to people. And unfortunately, I didn't get my GoPro going, and like I was just like, I'm going to keep it kind of more informal this time and just invite. I was like, do you have a Discord? Cool. And if I talk to you on Discord, I was like, hit you back up, and it was like, hey, you want to come on my show? Like, because we interview anybody. I love the like all different types of people to come on my show, and I don't mind getting requests from I've been playing the game for a week. I want to tell my experience. I'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like we gotta, we can find a time to put you on. We'll work together.
Is your show
Um,
live?
what's that?
Is your show live?
Yes, it is. It's on Federation Frontline Report here on Twitch. Normally at 2200 Eve time, but the interviews can kind of happen all over. So I just got done interviewing Corvus, who is of the Keldari faction warfare division, and met him at FanFest. Like you were saying about meeting up with enemies, like this was like my enemy, man. Like me and Corvus have been going at each other for a long time now, and have had a lot of recent scuffles with each other. It's been really awesome. Um, and he's a streamer, so like I was like, I know you. Like, I feel like I know you. Like, we've talked. We haven't really talked to each other on comms together, but like, you've been on your show. I've been on my show. We've talked about each other. We've talked in chat type kind of thing. And, it was just epic to like go up and like hang out and talk with all different types of people, meeting all the different things and getting them to come on to the show. So we've had like 3 interviews. We just had Corvus on like just before this show. And then we also had late night. We did Haha, who does a lot of PvP and stuff like that in faction warfare. And then we had another guy who had just been playing for like 2 years. And, like I met him, I was talking to him, and, he's just learning the big ins and outs of wormholes and stuff. He did like abyssal stuff. So we talked, and his whole passion was clothing. I was like, okay, you've got me, man. Like, I want to hear, why do you like clothing? He's like, I'm spending billions and billions of ISK on clothing, and I'm like, really? Like, why would you do that? And, um, so that was something that it. I wish I could have done interviews and tried to put more effort, but I think it was actually best to be like, hey, let's just do an interview later.
Yeah, like do all the networking. I know there are you probably saw this but they actually have gaming journalists there. And it's like so tedious. They've tried to line up interviews like with me before and like with my friends, and people are always like, "Yeah, guys, I want to go out, but like I have this like 30-minute interview in the middle of the day." And it's like it's way better to not do any of that, to just go there, have your vacation, have fun, etc. And so I don't blame you for delaying those. As somebody who has been interviewed and then trying to organize an interview is so much effort because you're not at your computer where you can look through things and where people can like easily pull up references. You're just like sitting there talking. And like even the GoPro stuff, I know Drayden's talked about wanting to like video and film everything, but it's way better just to live in the moment and to enjoy the experience for sure.
I kind of agree with that too. It's cool that there's a lot of recording and stuff that goes on, but I felt like I was more free. It's like kind of talking to a reporter without being on the record. Like you're a little bit on the record because we've talked and I'm going to talk about what we talked about, but I'm not recording you because that was one of my things was I was going to try and go really simple and just get do voice recording on my phone and just record it, just record everywhere that I'm going. But I felt like I'd have to be like, hey, is it okay if I'm recording? Like I'm part of the Federation Frontline News Network. Like,
Yeah, I think the post interviews or the post FanFest interviews are way better for sure. And then, did you do sightseeing at all while you were there?
a very little bit. The We went to the Blue Lagoon, which was really cool. And got like a massage there and hung out there for a while after we got off the plane. So we kind of spent the rest of the day there, kind of kept ourselves up. Um, but in general, like the only other major thing was, of course, the Monument Walk, which was cool, and the ships that they have down there is really cool, and some good food and stuff like that. Um, and then we also did just watching of the northern lights in the sky while hanging out at a bar, and I did a lot of bar hitting up and karaoke. That was a lot of fun. So got to go to a local bar that did some really fun karaoke. Had a cool setup, and I did because I got high, and I like changed some of the words over to like, I lost my jump freighter because I got high, and
Yeah.
I got scammed in Jitta because I got high. But yeah, so the sightseeing was really cool. It kind of also like just driving around, getting to Reykjavik, it looks very much like Hawaii in the like kind of feel that I got of all the molten rock that is kind of all over the place. Or not molten, but what is it? The word for it when it's hardened.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
lava rocks or whatever.
Lava rocks. Yeah, that'll we'll go with that. That's a good um yeah, it's a really beautiful country, and I want to definitely. I'm going back. I've already got my tickets for 2025 May. Like they were not joking when they said they were going on sale immediately, and so I picked those up, and we're definitely going back. And next time we're going to do a little bit longer of a vacation, so we can go see the lava caves and we can go see all the other like natural wonders that are there.
Nice, that's awesome. I oh, by the way, Twitch chat, there's a giveaway going on, so type exclamation point ticket. I kept trying to remind myself and then I was like, I have something to say. Okay. What so you guys did a little bit of sightseeing. The little bit that sounds like you did actually sounds amazing. I think everyone wants to see the northern lights and I'm so glad this year they were like there and vibrant and in your face because I know in prior years it was like non-existent. Did you do all of the Eve stuff? So you mentioned like you did the monument tour and the bar hopping. Did you go to like all the presentations or did you mostly focus on the social aspect of hanging out with friends during that time?
I did a little bit of both, definitely. And so it was one of those things where I didn't go to all of the panels. I went to the Havoc panel. I went to all of the announcements, early in the morning, kind of like get in and see what the announcements were for the day. And um, whew, wow, was my expectation walking in was like, we're gonna do pirate faction warfare next year. We're going to do, some other things, but like the next expansion is gonna be, something, but I don't know. But I had an inkling that faction warfare was coming. I set my expectations low, but I had this like in the back of my mind. I was like, it's going to be huge. They're going to talk about how faction warfare is eventually coming to 0.0 and going to not necessarily like there would be. I thought for sure that they were going to announce that there was going to be faction warfare 0 NPC 0.0 that was going to start, and eventually it would be how the player empires will like start taking each other over, and that you'll have frontline systems and a cool ass map just like we have. Because the faction warfare map, best map in all of Eve, even better than any of the player made maps. Like it is Stellaris in Eve Online. I am playing but a ship in that game of Stellaris, but I feel like I'm in like a 4x strategy game when I look at that map and see the front lines and like the stats of how far something is contested and stuff like that. It's the only map that I use really for Eve at this point, unless I go outside of faction warfare space.
So do you intend to keep fighting for the Galente against the upcoming pirates and against the Caldari with the upcoming expansion? Like what's the plan with for your organization concerning that?
So this is something that I was really torn while I was watching all of this, because I'm a pirate, like I said, and true to heart. I will shoot anybody unless they're blue to me. In faction, they can be if they're in my militia, or if they're a blue, I'm not going to shoot you. But everybody else is fair game. I've definitely done capture and release where they're like, "I'll pay you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll." Let's see here. You're in a like a venture prospect or something like that. Like, give me 100 million. That'll be probably good enough to let you free. And then like look at their kill board later and be like, oh man, that was like a 400 millionist kill. Like, I should have just killed him and not tried doing ransom. But so I am probably one of the few honorable, and even my fleet mates will attest to this, and I've have it on stream me doing this. We've let people go and been like, okay, you can go about your way, but if we'll catch you again, we're going to murder you. So just keep that in mind. So I am a pirate. I want to be a pirate. I really want to be a pirate. And privateer is kind of cool, but the angels and the Garistas are calling me.
Yeah, well,
fuck the Garistas, and the angels seem kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I got choices to make here. I was just struggling, man. Like the whole announcement, I'm going like, shit, man. I've been Galente my whole life.
well, the Galente will need people on their side to do like the FPS stuff and like everything that has to do with defending the zone. If there's no one left there, well, it's gonna be too easy for the pirates.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that everybody's gonna abandon faction warfare Galente for sure. We're gonna become like the most tight-knit small group, I feel like, because I feel like a lot of PvPers were just like me, that are out there, and what they want to do is be pirates and cause havoc in space, and the angels are offering that up. In the end, and I'm hoping this is the kind of route that everybody else goes, that's really hardcore into Galente right now. We've got some really awesome people. Is that I was like, no, I'm not going to leave. Like I was decided I'm going to double down on the Galente. I'm going to do the Federation Frontline Report, and we're going to, brand everything that way. I'm going to stick with the Galente. However, I do got a Caldari alt that doesn't do anything but hauling for me. He's been my hauler boy. He gets me all my stuff, but he's got like 70, 80 million like skill points that are just lying around and doing nothing. And I'm like, you know what? He could be an angel. And then I've got somebody inside of the Mimitar Amar war zone. And then I also have my Galente guy. And I didn't want to do like infiltration of the Guristas because I just don't want to have to deal with shooting my buddies, like, that are, like, oh, this is still my ult and stuff, but I don't want to go up against my guys. I want to go off into another area of the war zone, or the other war zone, to check that out.
So what you're
Angels just
saying
make sense.
is that like the two more most active militia, so Galante and Caldari, will like not necessarily go into the Gurista but into the Angels, so that they don't affect like their own war zone. So you'll have like a big influx of people only toward the weakest war zone, that is like the Amar and the Minmatar. So sounds fine to me.
That sounds about right. So I think that it's interesting. I think there's an unfair advantage here in a certain way to the and I feel like this is a graphical thing. This is not, and this is like a human thing that I'm talking about, of like why everybody's going to join the Angels. And I've seen it with like why everybody wanted the Scorpion ship when they changed the graphics on it and they made it look fucking sweet as hell from the weird bulky thing that it was. The Angels just got the new Titan release. Like, I mean, Garista's got a Titan, but it's kind of cool. I think it's got fighters. Like, that's kind of cool. Like,
Doesn't the Komodo just look like a normal Leviathan anyway, just reskinned?
yes. Yeah, just a reskin, maybe a little bit of bumps and bruises over here or there, whatever, the small changes, but fuck that. Oh, can I swear on here?
No.
Yeah, you can go for
Okay.
it.
Okay. Like,
Ben.
oh. I just, I was just like, wait a minute. But yes. But that Angel Titan, like, I want 3. Like, I don't know. I'll dedicate my entire life career now to getting one of those and figuring out where I can just place it so that it doesn't get blown up, because I'm gonna have one for looking at and then one for like killing with and then one for that I'm just gonna go out and get blown up. And that's like what, 12 trillion isk that I'm probably talking about right
Yeah.
there, that I'd have to do just to get to that. So, and it sounds like though that you're gonna make some hella good LP off. I mean, because you're still gonna be able to sell the blueprints probably for that for a ridiculous amount of LP. But well, we'll see how much LP you actually make as doing this, because it is going to be different than doing faction warfare sites. Like, they're coming in and doing like PvE activities, right? Is what I'm kind of getting.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's like, since you won't have access to the Empire PvE like site and dungeon that they just came out like last June, they needed to replace that with something else, and now there's like those kind of raid of 20% in PvE pirate. It's a bit weird, but it does look interesting. Same thing with this, how they call that? It's the laundry something. I can get an image on that actually. Let me find that out. It's
Yeah,
like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm curious how CCP will try and balance it too. If you like, everyone's already saying, oh, they want to join Angel, but then it's also, if you join a side, you lose high sec standings or whatever, which kind of sucks. I don't know if you guys remember back when I think Faction Warfare first came out. I know there's a couple people who can never enter high sec again just because of their standings, and there's no way to fix it.
Yep,
Like, it's
me.
just impossible.
That's me, the
Is that you? Yeah.
Caldari. Yeah, I've like was teetering on the edge of it for like because they killed my standings when I first did it. It was like every rat that you shot at or whatever, like everything, like missioning was a huge thing when it first popped up. So like, it was like my standings are so tanked.
Yeah, and there's like nothing you can do besides maybe spend like years doing, like, what is it, the Cosmo missions, the ones every like 3 months, or no, the Epic Arcs and Cosmo stuff. I think they reset every 3 months, and like that might be the only way you can reset it, but those are so tedious, and half of them are in high sec.
Yeah, I've just said embrace the pirate, fuck high sec. Like, really, like, why are you even, in fact, if anybody complains about not being able to go to high sec because they're part of a pirate faction, I'm gonna be like, really? Like, I mean,
I
Come
see
on
from
now, let's live as pirates, right?
I see from the perspective of like you want to log in and play the game, but now you are locked out of certain content almost indefinitely, and the solution everyone says is, well, just make an alt. Well, why do I have to make an alt to do things that everyone else does? Like think of like nullsec, right? Nullsec, they're just killing each other left and right, the wild wild west. Same with wormholes, and they can still go to high sec just fine.
I wouldn't say just fine because it depends. If you're a famous corporation or alliance, you're getting war decked, right? Um,
That's true, but that's player driven, and so I don't
okay,
mind the
nope,
player
that's
driven
true.
stuff.
Okay, that's
Right.
very true. Very good point.
Yeah.
Um,
If it's like, yeah, the fact that you get locked out, like you can't dock in stations because some NPC thing, which is like so archaic and old and silly. I think it's silly. I wish CCP would get away from it. And maybe they have better, like maybe they redo the consequences of your actions. Like maybe you just pay more money for things, or I don't know, maybe you just can't. I don't know. I feel like it's silly, but because I want to go all in on the Garista's Angel stuff too. I do faction warfare on my main, and then I always have to pay tags to get my standings up.
they
But
fixed this. They already fixed this. What you're talking about is already done. Enlistment.
oh, where you're not siding with one side, but
Well,
that
you
doesn't
you
affect
can
your
join.
standings.
So you're right on the sense. I don't think that we should be getting huge standings like permanent hits to like. But if you're part of like if you're going out pirating with the pirates, you should be at least forced to be a pirate at that point in time.
Oh
But it
yeah,
should be easily and sex status is easily repairable.
yeah.
Now losing how much you're going to be paying for it in Keldari standing. I hope that when they release it, they're aware that that is something you can't do and they've even fixed it for faction warfare. The only thing that you get standings bumps or negatives for while you're part of faction warfare is for when you rank up, which is extremely slow and rare by doing it through plexing. Like I got to a Luminaire General like day like 5 or whatever, like because you just bumped up it was doing missions. You could just like get rank after rank after rank and rank up really quick, and that just killed your standings with the Keldari. And you had this like huge standings bumps that you would get for the Galente, which were really nice. But now you don't have that problem. The only thing that you're getting is you don't need to do mission ratting, so you don't get any negative bumps for that. You don't get any negative bumps for doing plexes or shooting the rat inside of the plexes. So if you enlist, you can come in, play around, have fun, and then jump out for, because you can immediately jump in and jump out, and then you can't jump back in for another 24 hours. But
Oh, I gotcha.
you can jump in and jump out. Like there is no, if I'd have to double check on that, and but I'm about 80% sure that you can just jump in, play for 2 hours, and jump out.
I gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. And are they gonna do enlistment with the Garistas and Angels too?
Oh yeah, yep. That's what
Okay, sweet.
I feel like was very much talked about.
Yeah, and for those like what we were speaking about earlier, for like if you go pirate, you got some exclusive like pirate PVE that was announced. It's still work in progress, but you see like there's 3 here that actually like say it's gonna be to either like 1 to 5% or 20%, and there's like this thing here like a pirate laundering center. So we don't know what's that's gonna be. Maybe to get resources in. Still quite weird, but at least like there's like some way to maybe like make money if like you got only one character and that you want to keep being a pirate and finance your ships.
The one on the far right, the warehouse raid, you mentioned the 20 person.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of reminds me of those flashpoints that they have in Post-Fan, where you need like I think it's 15. Is where it kind of caps out. You can have more. We have a bunch of people going together, usually expensive ships, and you got to be able to PvP in it in case somebody tries to crash your party. But that's what I'm hoping the warehouse raids are.
Yeah, well,
Sounds like that.
yeah, and pirate battle cruisers only. So
Oh yeah. Oh, that's weird. Then you have to.
yeah, one of the new ships that have not come out yet, but that we saw and that we have the stats. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's like, what was it, the Gator and stuff?
Like,
It's gonna be hard though at the start because nobody's gonna be able to run it because you have to build up the LP to buy the blueprints and then build the ships
buy
to
it
then be
from
able
someone else.
or buy it and then fit it up. But yeah,
Hmm.
be interesting to see who starts doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of talk about the specifics of this event. Nobody got a head start or anything like that at FanFest. So I'm just starting to learn about the new events and stuff like that. But it sounds like Wormholers got super rich, or some of them did, because there was like a useless item that is now like
No,
sought
those
after.
are the drifters for the drifter hive. Like a wormhole wise, it's the same site as that we got. They just added like a new like a thingy into it, so it's not something that we could have like hoard during the like the time.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, and then there's just that there's going to be, yeah, PvE, PvP kind of, special sites that are going to be going on for a while here, and I'm excited to see, because I feel like that's like building up to the building of their shipcaster and stuff like that, right?
Well, the
And
shipcaster is already like building right now.
right,
Like
but it's
it's
not
like
finished yet.
no, but like you cannot start build like a building if you don't
Oh,
have
it's
all the
done. Okay,
yeah.
okay, yep.
So but on that side, like for like everything that you need to do to actually power up the fulcrum, that's where like the raids for the drifter will need to be happening, because you need to get lots of resources together.
Yeah, it seems like that's going to be fun gameplay. That's I'm interested to see how that goes, and I'm gonna have to, like, that's my like getting in with Rifter, I guess, to like figure out all of this new actions. Because yeah, my decision in the end is definitely, do it both, and use my alt, and probably do enlistment. Actually, would probably be the best way of doing that, because as long as it doesn't have permanent in it, if it's just security status, I'm not going to be getting kicked out of Jitta or Galente space if I go to the Angels. So I should be able to just enlist for a little bit, go do the stuff, join up with all the fun stuff, and then jump out if I need to do any hauling to stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, someone in chat asked about Singularity or CC, and so I found the forum post. So CC is, I think it's in VIP only now until CCP decides to change that, which I don't think they do in the future for mass testing.
CCP actually said that there was going to be like a session during which it's going to be open for testing and that kind of things. But it's gonna be like really limited. Okay, but during that time, that's like when you can actually use it for, well, what we used to use it back in the days.
Yeah, I'm really sad about that. I didn't use it very much, but I know that that's like a really great place to do theory crafting and messing around and getting to play with a lot of different things. Get a look at, maybe some of the new stuff, but a lot of it is just playing with the old stuff and being like, I didn't have to pay any ISK
Yeah.
for this. It was 100 ISK, or I could buy something that was 100 ISK and then sell it for 50 billion or whatever that was.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of people abused CC. Like a majority of players used it as it was intended, but a lot of people abused it, and I'm guessing CCP didn't want to take the manpower to moderate that either. And so they're like, well, if everyone loses out, which I can kind of get in a world where you're like, EVE Online's this cutthroat, like loss is loss, sort of like world, like
Mm.
permanence. And then you have like this server where you can go in and just kind of do whatever you want, play with whatever you want, and then learn and then apply it to Tranquility. I can kind of see why it doesn't really fit the world or the universe of EVE Online having this
Yeah,
sort of fake world to play around on.
but like also like CCP, like they need a test server to test their thing. They already got one. Why should they get like more resources to like get a new one for themselves when they actually got one? Like it's still like our money that they do invest in those kind of things.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
so yeah, I did really like this server to actually like the first time that I get into a capital. That was really useful. because like a capital gameplay, first time that you get into a carrier, how to drive those, and like all the capital gameplay that you cannot really do safely, like first time you get into one, or well, let's say it's rare that you can do it. So yeah, that's something that I think is a bit missing.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'd like to see the return. We've got to, gotta allow for us to play a little bit with this. Everything's so expensive to play with in real virtual world. We want a fake virtual world for our fake virtual world, please.
Yeah. All right. So we covered a lot about FanFest. How you said you spoke to a lot of people, like making connections, networking. It's really hard as a viewer at home to understand how the vibe at FanFest was. How do you think the vibe at FanFest was? Were people excited about this news? Excited about, the third decade? What were your thoughts on that?
I would say that a lot of people that are like, I haven't been playing for 5 years, they're like, I'm in. Like, okay, you got me back. I mean, there's the people that go to FanFest, so they're just, they've been waiting for CCP to like announce to them something that would make them go, yes, I'm back into this game. And they, definitely like the social scene. The vibe was solid. Like people were super excited. A lot of people were very happy about the announcement for faction warfare PvP for pirates. It's great, and the way that they implemented, I think, was what took people off guard in a good way. Like it wasn't the we're going to do faction warfare and NPC, pirate space. We're gonna do it in an invasion of faction warfare that these guys are going to come in, they're going to corrupt the space around them, they're going to make it so that it's lower in security status, quote unquote. So it's, there's a possibility that you could get 0.0 like mechanics, but it's not going to say 0.0. And it's can spread to high sec. And so if it doesn't get fought back, it can like consume the entirety of low sec, basically. Like unchecked, this thing is like the pirates taking over the entirety of low sec and turning it into 0.0, and there is no more low sec, basically. So you've got to go in, stop the thing from happening, fight it back, and stuff like that. So, and there is probably like time, limits on it, so it would only take over large chunks and stuff for a short period of time. But if you did let it go unchecked, it would be for a short period of time. That space is all like, if you thought that your structures are safe, then you better be I think you have to be above 0.8 in order to get away from the possibility of having corrupted space. So if you're on a border system and you've got a structure, it's probably going to get blown up if it doesn't have any real defense.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think CCP did really well. It's also interesting to see. I think I like the fact. I'm trying to remember. There's been a couple fan fests where they'll announce things, but it takes forever to implement what they were talking about. And this is
Yep.
really exciting to see where it's like, okay, they made the announcement in September, and then in November it's gonna, go live.
I think that's why they didn't. One of the reasons, maybe, why they didn't want to wait until, um, you know, uh, if they do it in May and then they would say that it's coming out in November. Kind of like what happened with Faction Warfare, is that it was just a lot of like buildup of anticipation that was like, oh, you'll get that later. So a lot of people, I think, felt like, well, we didn't get the greatest fan fest ever. When I kind of did get, like the last one was really, I wasn't there, but I was watching, and when I heard like Faction Warfare is being redone, I'm like, okay, it's the beginning of epicness. Like they're gonna roll this shit out properly, and they're gonna do something proper with it. Um, and it looks like they're doing that. Iteration upon iteration is much better than iteration and then throw it away. Be like, yeah, it's in the
Yes.
game. Welcome. It'll stay that way. Epic arcs. We were supposed to get like all the epic. Should be like 50 epic arcs that we should be able to run right now. And that was. I feel like that was the original promise. And then they were like, yeah, we did epic. They're there. What are you talking about? why would
Yeah.
you why would you add another epic mark? Because you said it was really easy to do. Like,
Epic and easy? Meh. But if you want to look epic, we're gonna close the skin giveaway in a few seconds. The time that I found the right window. So, exclamation point tickets. You got 10 seconds to get in if you want to get this Rupture Scope Syndication skin. So we got. I'm closing it right now. Okay, let's draw first winner. Valomir. So Valomir, I'm gonna get in contact with you to get your in-game character that you want the skin to be mailed to.
We had a lot of people try to enter last minute. Sorry, team. This has been up like all
Yeah.
stream, at least 30 minutes. Yeah, we were talking. You mentioned iteration. It is nice seeing CCP talk a little bit better about like publishing something and then going back and fixing it or updating it or changing it if it didn't work out, or just iterating on it, I guess is the right word, right? As we're talking about iteration, it is extremely nice seeing them do that nowadays, where it used to be just like they'd send it out, one and done, all good. My cat says hello.
Oh, it's a kittens.
Yeah, she was been bothering me since I talk, but I really but I am still kind of iffy on the arc thing that they have published. You talked about epic arcs. This is the one where they're like posting the stories to kind of hint at what's coming. I feel like I like lore, but I'm not that into lore. So it's really hard for me to like judge how much I enjoy that, because I feel like I don't follow it, so it's not as beneficial for me, but I don't know. Are you more of a lore person, Frozen?
I do like the lore. My buddy Coder who got me into the game was like a big into the lore. Like he read like every article of the fic that was created for this universe by CCP, and so he was super into it. I read some of it, and it's pretty cool. I love the concept of the universe and stuff. Um, the arc stuff that I guess they're doing that kind of arc thing that they're doing right now is definitely a presence inside, and it's like people like finding of the gates, the data cores to find the information, and the making of the video and stuff like that. I think that's super cool. It's not something I'm gonna do, but I'm going to watch it when it like as Reddit is like, we found the data core, the special thing that gets a video up about this, or oh, the gates have been found, the Jovian gates are found, and stuff like that. Just from the players are the ones announcing it first, and then CCP comes out with like an official scope video for it. I think that's super cool. Like that's a really great way to kind of get things. Um, but in the past though, they've dropped all of like there's the epic arc missions. Like they're in the game. You can do the missions and stuff like that, but you can't. They were like gonna do like a whole bunch of them. Like it was supposed to be like a thing that was gonna get iterated upon, and you're gonna have like a whole new thing of mission running that you could do in this game, and that didn't really happen. Where I feel like now they're like, okay, faction warfare, we're gonna bring in pirates into the faction warfare, we're gonna have enhance the system, we're gonna possibly look at moving the system of front lines to how you fight in 0.0. And maybe that's where might have to have like an actual declaration of war on somebody in order to actually attack their space, and then you've got front lines that you have to have, or don't have to have, I would say. Anyways, I don't know what they're going to do, but it sounds like there's a lot of potential that they're going to do with it. And then adding in pirates, adding in this enlistment that they recently just came out with, all of this is like really building onto something to make a really cool structure. I think that they're making at this point instead of just laying the foundation.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I'm
weird to
excited.
say that it's like 20 years, and Eve is really big, but it feels like we're a really big slab with a few, really good kind of cool things being made off of that slab at this point. But a lot of them are like, okay, build it up here. But what about over on this east wall? Oh, you're right, the east wall. Let's build that up for a little bit here. But I think that
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential, and one of those big walls that is being built, I think, is the next big thing, which is going to be Vanguard.
Yeah, Vanguard. I'm so excited for Vanguard. I feel like every time someone talks about EVE or FanFest, all I think of is Vanguard. I think I might have said like the expansion is called Vanguard because that's all I'm thinking about, sort of thing. The expansion is called Havoc, not Vanguard. Vanguard's the shooter game. I'm so excited for it, and I really want. So like they kind of did okay with Dust being integrated into Eve, but I really want like Vanguard and Eve to like really mesh well. Like I want it to be good. I don't know. I just have like I have really high expectations, but I don't want to hype myself up too much.
Well, the thing that's beautiful is that you get a if you have an Eve Online subscription, you have a subscription to this new Vanguard game, and so you get two games for your subscription now, which does make sense with the price hike, you know. And I've been actually talking about this. Like, if you gave me two games, I wouldn't even care about paying $20 a month per account. Um, and they did that, so that's huge. So it's going to be on PC. I when I heard that they were going to do a shooter, I was like, if they say PlayStation, I'm walking out. Like, I'm just leaving. I'm gonna leave FanFest. I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna be like, no, 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 not again. Um, so this all looks really good. It's PVE, PvP. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, like that's I want to do that. Like, PvP is fun, and don't get me wrong, and PvE I think is fun in a first-person shooter. But you combine the two together to make something epic. Like,
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm also curious how they're gonna because I've asked this question to some folks of like, is the shooter a EVE Online shooter catered to EVE Online players, or is it like a shooter based in the EVE Online world catered to like shooter fans? And so I'm really, really curious to see kind of right. They're gonna start it off with okay, let's get EVE players on board, right? Because it impacts EVE and they know EVE, and we want to make sure it caters to like the core fan base. But I'm really curious as how they're gonna tailor that to outside players, right? Like if you don't play EVE Online, but you love like Call of Duty, Apex, Overwatch, CS:GO, would you be interested in this game? Or something. I think maybe it's something like Planet Side even, where that's like a shooter, but it's really like PVE, PvP sort of thing.
Yeah, but not only that, they also said that there's gonna be like a section for like explorer and industrialist. So that's really interesting because will we be able to like build stuff like really like on
that'd be
planets or
cool.
in stations or whatever else, wherever else?
Walking in station.
They have
Yeah.
games that are like that though, right? Like if you want to talk about a builder or an industrialist in a shooter game, just look at what Fortnite is. Like I don't know if you've watched people play Fortnite, but they're like jumping around. It's really cartoony. They're jumping around and they're like, I'm gonna build this tower while I'm sniping people and like getting shot at, and it's like crazy. But Fortnite's also one of the most played games, super popular. So like that's the thing too. It's like if
Hmm.
you can like Fortnite started out as like what nothing, like nothing behind it, and then it really took off because of things of like Twitch.
Yeah.
But like that, I don't know if
They
that's what
need
they're
to be
aiming
careful
for, but
like about that because like you got like games like I think it's Satisfactory or something like that that could get real like the engineer into it, and that could be like a nice mix with Eve. I don't know what they have like in mind
yeah.
for exploration, but maybe like going inside the planet and like go into mines and that kind of stuff to get like really rare stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm curious how they'll approach it because I'm excited to see like looking at all these elements. Like it sounds like it could be either really really cool or really really bad, and that's why they have a beta or an alpha or whatever it is we're testing in December.
yeah, yeah. Need to register to that, people. By the way, we
Yeah,
get.
I've got to get on that.
You're
And
not. Oh,
oh wait, let me post the link then in the
yeah.
Twitch chat. So if you haven't signed up, sign up. I just posted my email, and then it's December 2023, so you can kind of see everything that they have for screenshots and I don't think they have any gameplay footages except what they showed at FanFest.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Did they show the actual gameplay, or do they have that out there?
It was in a trailer. Ben showed it last week, but it wasn't much. It was like you were kind of walking around and looking at the scenery.
Yeah, I
Well,
was really happy with what they showed us at FanFest, where it was a full-on demo of the game. The guy going around like getting shot at, as people fighting each other. There was like 4 people playing at the time. Looked really good, like like scanning stuff down and like running around, searching for objectives and killing NPCs along with PCs, I thought was looked really interesting. So
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I know we're almost at the top of the hour. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss, Frozen, before we close out?
no, not really, other than, check out our website, Federation Frontline Report. Check out all of our, cool YouTube channels and stuff like that, Twitch. And we do podcasting, we have fun, and we just fighting for the Federation, and super excited for this expansion. I think that I'm super excited for the next FanFest to go on in Vegas. That's going to be happening at some point. I haven't seen if there was a new announcement on that, but I'm like, okay, fine. I guess I'm going to go to Vegas every year now too. And lots of stuff in the works. Lots of interviews and stuff that we're having with people that were at FanFest. All the contacts that I made, and go check out FanFest. Like, seriously, if you're into social gatherings, you go to conventions and stuff like that, definitely check this out. If you've never checked out any of that stuff and you want to go to the one that you can be the most social while finding out about one of your favorite games, and the new stuff that's coming out live, it's like something you've never experienced before. And if you get it early, it gets a lot cheaper. So if you have the ability to do it now. If you're like, oh wait, it's like doubles the price of a plane ticket and doubles the price of the FanFest ticket itself as well. I believe it's not quite double, but it's
much more
substantially-
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Alrighty.
And also, and thank you very much for letting me be on here. This is super awesome. I'm super excited I could talk forever. But just kind of wrap it on up is just, I'm so glad to be on here talking about FanFest, and so I feel blessed of being able to even have that happen. Like, not sure what reality I'm in right now, but I'm sticking with this one.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining. I'm glad you reached out to me because we had talked about this a couple months ago, so I'm glad it worked out. And then I know you kind of gave some shout outs, but I'm going to call out specifically. Do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Definitely to Samson and Gwenevich Kenyon, who is our murderer in Nitoras, or Jägermeister, if you ask some people. Right next to Hey, Die Less, an Old Man Star. He has number one on the kill boards for there. Definitely, just epic. I brought him on and interviewed him off of a Facebook posting that was like, hey, anybody want to interview? I don't care who you are. And after the interview, we were talking. I got him on board. He does all my graphics. The only thing is I've combined his might with another 3D animator's might in order to get our brand new intro movie that we've got, which is just a first or 1 minute long or 30-second long, like little 3D graphic kind of thing. But it was really fun getting that up and running. And now I'm going to make a video that's going to like be out there, recruitment or like a little bit something like cool intro that a lot of people do. So I'm really excited about that stuff. But he's been helping me with all of that, and it's just epic to have somebody come on and do a lot of really hard real work, like he's building the website out for us right now. And then just how it just randomly happened because he plays Eve and I play Eve, and I asked him to come on to my podcast. And also to Nightflyer, he's also a co-host of mine on the show, so Samson also does co-hosting for me on the podcast now. And Nightflyer as well got brought on, and he was part of the network, Noir, and he was like, I want to check out Faction Warfare. I've got an alt, I'll throw this in there. I met him actually at a Goomp, where he was just, it was like he heard about it somehow, some way. Because towards the end, we were actually pretty open with, we don't care whether you're in, goons or not, whether you don't know anybody. Like, you can come and, if you're, not a crazy weird person, like some of us are though, so maybe you don't want to go, but they were like, go to it, check it out, hang out with us. Like, and we had lots of people that were just like, I know this kind of person maybe, like, or some that came in that were like, I don't know anybody here. I just heard about this. Like, read it somewhere, you know. And
That's good to hear. Yeah.
so we, Night Flyer's been helping out with podcasting and stuff like that, bringing on another really cool person. And then definitely a shout out to Alec, who runs Noir, the network. He's leader of the alliance that I'm in now. I got to actually personally meet him with a meetup stuff that I did, actually. And we're doing that as well. May 3rd, 2024. We're going to be the make up for not having a fan fest this year. So come to Madison, and we're going to do a little bit of an eve gathering at an arcade bar, so that everybody can come play video games, hang out, eat pizza, and be at a barcade and get drunk. So that is definitely check out their podcast too, Declaration of War, one of the oldest podcasts out there. So I just want a huge thank you for him letting me become even more of a mercenary than what I was before. We were more piratey privateers, and now we're kind of almost sanctioned by the mercenary, guild.
Heck yeah, dude. Alrighty, no, thank you. So with that, Ben, I don't know if you have any closing thoughts.
Yeah, I do actually. I just invited you, Frozen, to the Intergalactic Party Planners. Because you might not know, I'm the host of Eve Montreal. So now you'll be in with every other hosts and party planners for Eve Online. So welcome. So you're speaking, but we don't hear you.
Oh, awesome! Thank you so much. Thank you. That is so epic.
You're welcome. Yes, on my side, a lot of is happening. Sorry is pairing up with Austerity. For the upcoming expansion, we are going pirate. Yes, so we'll get into everything that has to do with the Angel Cartel. Also, Sorry is expanding its activity. Will be welcoming people not only for everything that has to do with Losec, Pudgevin, Zarzak, and else, and Wormhole, that's for sure. But we'll also get a all new high section for people that would more be behind it and help people that are doing the factional warfare. So we'll be all around except NoSec.
Alrighty, and then thank you both. And then next week, Sunday 1600, we are going to have CCP Nomad and CCP Mischief on here to talk heraldry. Some of the stuff they dropped and released at FanFest itself, and so we're going to talk to them about what's up and coming and maybe when we can see more of that. So make sure you tune in then. But thank you everyone, and have a good day.
Thanks everyone. See you around.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Kina semnol ka ke mo fa seda.